Oh, yeah. There you go. Did you?
This is a new day. This is a new day full of sound, light, and expectation. This day has been waiting for you. This day has been waiting especially for you, to embrace you, to guide you. This day has been waiting with open arms just for you. This is the day we have been given. Let's not waste it. Come now and let us worship together. Hello and welcome everyone to UUIO on Zoom. It's exciting to see people from around the country here to join us this morning. We do not require members to follow a creed or a set of beliefs about God or the nature of reality. Instead, we are bound together by an agreement to follow the spirit of love in our daily lives, to serve our community, to dwell together in peace, and to seek the truth in love. This church community has discerned the spirit of love to call us toward care for the vulnerable and marginalized as great prophets have done in the past. We have waved a rainbow flag to signify this place as a sanctuary for any persons who identify as LGBTQIA. We have raised a Black Lives Matter banner to remind ourselves and our community that racism and systems that support racism must transform if we are to become the beloved community. If you come to us with a broken heart, welcome. If you come to us with a searching and restless heart, welcome. If you are a person in search of healing for yourself and our world, welcome. If you feel drawn to this path, or if it describes the path you are already on, we would like to get to know you better. After service today, there will be a newcomer circle, which is a wonderful way to actually do that. If you're new to UUIO or would like to learn how you could get more involved with the church, just stay on this Zoom call through the breakout session after service. The newcomer circle begins immediately after today's breakout session. Also, Summer RE will be at 12:30 p.m. today, where the topic is animals, amphibians, and reptiles, which is very fitting for today's service. It will be hosted on a separate Zoom link, and that is in the weekly update, and it's also here in the chat. Marcia Malmer is making face masks with good quality cotton, and they are free to anyone who wants or needs them. A donation to the church is welcome, but not required. And if you're interested, just send us an email at office@uuyo.org, and we'll connect you with Marcia and a way to get a really beautifully constructed face mask. Also, Reverend Joseph will be on study leave and staycation this week from June 29th to July 6th. So if you have immediate questions in the interim, just contact the office. And now let's go to Lindsay Syncovich, who will offer our chalice lighting.
Good morning, one and all. I will open with a short piece from the poet Mary Oliver's book, Dog Songs. How it is with us and how it is with them. We become religious, then we turn from it. Then we are in need and maybe we turn back. We turn to making money. Then we turn to the moral life. Then we think about money again. We meet wonderful people, but lose them in our busyness. We're, as the saying goes, all over the place. Steadfastness, it seems, is more about dogs than about us. One of the reasons we love them so much. Mary Oliver is right about dogs and steadfastness. At the start of the pandemic, when we began sheltering in place, I made the decision to adopt a dog earlier than planned. As the panic of the novel coronavirus and the swirling anxieties and uncertainties that upended our lives became vividly real, I was searching for a way to anchor my daughter and I more solidly in our daily routine. Steadfastness. All I could think about was my first dog, Pepper, and how when she came into my life in 7th grade, she became a 4-legged lifeboat through the rough waters of adolescence. Steadfastness. I wanted Penelope to have a lifeboat too. When we went to the rescue shelter, we were initially really disappointed because all of the super cute puppies we fell in love with online had already been adopted. Since I had been contemplating puppy adoption for years, I knew, or thought I knew, what I was looking for. And after one of the remaining dogs barked aggressively and desperately at us and made Penelope cry, I thanked the shelter owner and turned to go. Wait, she said, I have a dachshund hound mix who was dumped off with her sister and their 2 litters of puppies. The puppies are already adopted, but she still needs a home. She might be a good fit for your daughter. Still convinced that we would be leaving without a dog that day, I hesitantly agreed. Well, we ended up playing with Charlene for almost an hour, and the bond was instant. She offered Penelope many kisses and came right over to me and sat on my feet and propped her head up in my lap. And those eyes, those puppy dog eyes are really a thing, aren't they? 3 months later, we have made progress, all of us. Charlene is adjusting well to the house, and while we have taught her many tricks, she has taught me 3 important lessons. Sit, stay, and leave it. We light this chalice today as a symbol of the spark of steadfastness, the steadfastness within us all, that our pets can and do awaken. To remember that we need steadfastness to carry us through these tumultuous times. As we light this chalice, may we remember to sit and pause in the moment and to stay open with love and compassion so that we may gather the wisdom to know when to leave it.
Let us join together in saying our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Each month, we give to an organization that supports transformation in our community, which is the heart of our mission. In our church's historic commitment to the well-being of our community, we give 100% of our offering to those in need. UUYO's Give Away the Plate recipient for June is Inspiring Minds of Youngstown. Inspiring Minds of Youngstown is a youth enrichment program dedicated to empowering underrepresented youth in our community through education and exposure to life-changing experiences. It is our vision to see the youth become leaders in politics, community, and industries that will impact generations in the inner city. We will now receive the offering that supports the life of Youngstown, the Mahoning Valley, and our wider world.
join me in a brief meditation.
Our reading this morning is entitled The Duck with a Human Mind by Eckhart Tolle. When two ducks get into a fight, it never lasts long. They soon separate and fly off in opposite directions. Each duck then flaps its wings vigorously several times. This releases the surplus energy that built up in him during the fight. After they flap their wings, they fly on peacefully as if nothing had ever happened. Now, if the duck had a human mind, this scene would go very differently. The duck may fly away peacefully for a moment, but he would not put the fight behind him. He would keep the fight alive in his mind by thinking and story making. The duck's story would probably go something like this. I can't believe what he just did. He came within 5 inches of me. He has no consideration for my private space. He thinks he owns this pond. I'll never trust him again. I know he's already plotting something else to annoy me with, but I'm not going to stand for it. I'm going to teach him a lesson he will never forget. And in this way, the duck's mind spins its tail, still thinking and talking about it, days, months, and even years later. He may never see his adversary again, but that doesn't matter. The single incident has left its impression and now has a life of its own deep within the duck's mind. Unless the duck chooses to recognize that the fight is over, unless he drops the story, he will suffer from the endless cycle of his mind's creation. You can see how painful and troublesome the duck's life would become if he had a human mind. But this is how most of us live all the time. For the average person, no situation or event is ever really over and done with. The mind and the mind-made story keep it going. Unlike the duck, we are a species that has the power to remember, which is both wonderful and problematic. Our duck has an important lesson to teach us, and his message is this: flap your wings, which means let go of the story and live your real life here and now in the present moment.
Deep in the crystal blue waters of the Bahamas, conservationist Christina Zanato settles onto the ocean floor in her diving suit, surrounded by a swarm of 8-foot-long Caribbean reef sharks. She reaches out a chainmail glove and runs it along the heads and fins of the sharks as they glide soundlessly around her. One of them slows down and calmly rests its head in her lap, remaining there for many minutes as she gently pets its smooth skin. I love watching their behaviors, Zanato says. They appear to me as different as any human being I encounter. Some of them are more dominant. Some are more shy. It's their decision to come in. It's their decision to stay. It's their decision to go. A bit closer to home, in the rolling hills of Watkins Glen, New York, during Thanksgiving, Farm Sanctuary holds an annual celebration for the turkeys, where, according to founder Gene Bauer, the rescued turkeys are the guests of honor, not the main course. Visitors to the sanctuary are treated to attention from these friendly and curious birds, some of whom will run up to greet your car, trot along beside you, and even sit in your lap, falling asleep as you stroke their soft feathers. I find myself thinking of Caribbean sharks and rescued turkeys as one of my 3 cats, Elmer, jumps into my lap, upsetting my thoughts midstream and causing my pen to fly out of my hand. He settles in, purring, a rescue story in his own right. My husband and I found him a couple of years ago while we were taking our usual stroll around Wick Park. In truth, Joseph gets the credit for the discovery. I had been walking along, lost in my own thoughts, when he pointed out a small, scruffy black kitten scurrying down the sidewalk directly in front of UUYO. He must have instantly regretted it, seeing as I immediately bounded across the street, his words trailing after me in vain, "We're not keeping him." By the time I got him home from the vet, he already had a name, Elmer, named for Elm Street where our paths had fatefully crossed. Even as a shy, abandoned 9-week-old kitten, Elmer quickly adjusted to our home and to our feline senior resident, Simon, who reluctantly learned that retirement entailed in part serving as a role model, babysitter, and unwilling wrestling opponent for this rambunctious youngster. Well, my mom said, maybe Elmer will spruce up Simon's life a bit. Elmer certainly did that for me, as our other feline family member, Jasper, had passed away shortly after we moved to Youngstown, with Simon soon to follow. And adopting this adoring and plucky kitten helped fill that unfillable hole of loss. When Elmer settles into my lap, purring, he looks at me and I look at him. And if I could translate our looks, they might say, "I know you. You are special to me. We are kindred, yet you are your own." Many of us share homes with dogs, cats, perhaps a bird or a tank of colorful fish. Some of us refill our bird and squirrel feeders every morning, shuffling outside at dawn before our first cups of coffee to make sure our backyard friends get breakfast in time. Some of us donate hard-earned money to wildlife conservation efforts, volunteer at animal shelters, or seek to avoid the exploitation of animals in our food, clothing, and entertainment. I haven't met many people who wouldn't smile at the antics of a puppy, or pause in awe at the silent emergence of a deer in the woods. But what do we know about these fellow earthlings? Those who are kindred and yet completely their own. What can they teach us, if anything, about life? How can we seek to translate their teachings? In the words of naturalist Henry Beston, we need another and a wiser and perhaps a more mystical concept of animals. In a world older and more complete than ours, They move finished and complete, gifted with the extension of the senses we have lost or never attained, living by voices we shall never hear. They are not brethren, they are not underlings, they are other nations, caught with ourselves in the net of life and time, fellow prisoners of the splendor and travail of the earth. If we open ourselves to the mystery of our fellow beings, we may have something to learn. A rescue kitten can show you how to love again after great loss. A turkey can teach you how to look at something you think you know and see it for the first time. A duck can help remind you to flap your symbolic wings and shake off that grudge. A shark can inspire you to reach out to someone who seems completely different than you and see a spark of kinship in their eyes. If we can respect our animal kindreds, might we be better able to respect our human ones too? No matter whether they seem similar, different, familiar, or surprising. Perhaps one day, we can look at each other, whether human, winged, furry, or finned, and say without hesitation, I know you. You are special to me. We are kindred, yet you are your own. Now, without further ado, let's begin our blessing of the animals ritual. So I've got a few logistics here on how we can do this virtually. So we're going to want to take turns going one at a time, popcorn style. So when it's your turn, please unmute yourself, but otherwise stay muted, or we'll have a chorus of barks and meows, which could be kind of interesting but noisy. So if you have a pet or animal friend at home, just aim the camera on your laptop or your smartphone at your pet and we'll get to see them. If your pet has stage fright, don't chase them with your camera. Just if you have a photo, you can hold it up to your webcam. I'll demonstrate here. And we should be able to see it. And if you don't have a photo, you're welcome to just share some statements about your pet. And this also goes if you have lost a beloved family member, if they've passed away or they're not able to be with you, just you're definitely welcome to show a photo and maybe share some memories if you have them. So once everyone has gone, I'll offer a blessing and I can go ahead and kick us off. I guess I was muted. Can everybody hear me? Okay, I'm gonna start over. So this is Sophia and Charlie right here. And I was saying that they are usually, it's a bit of a glare, so maybe tricky to see, but they're usually foes. And at this moment, they were actually sharing space together, which was lovely. And I'll quickly move my camera and show you Elmer, just to give you guys a sense of how this can go. It's kind of guerrilla style UUIO. One second. There's Elmer. There he is. He's got a little bit famous during my message. I got to tell you about his story. So now I'm going to mute myself, and I'd love to see any of your other animal friends that are with you this morning.
This is Pixie. We've had her for about almost a year. She's wonderful with another cat, and she just is a delight to have in our family. Okay, Pixie, we'll let you go.
This is Charlene, because I have her still for a moment. We'll just introduce her.
This is Ptolemy. You guys can see. My Ptolemy, she was rescued years ago from Wick Avenue. I had friends living on Wick, and they had 4 cats, and I was ready for a kitten. So we got Ptolemy, quick picture of Ptolemy, who was watching a service earlier. And she amused me. And I have Kira, who's a very grumpy kitty, but we love her anyway. They are not the most compatible of people, but you know, we've had her for about 7-8 years. So, and I lost a dog this year and a kitty, so my pet populations is kind of low for me. But I'd like to get a dog. My husband doesn't want another dog because that's another loss. But maybe soon. My granddaughter and son and daughter-in-law are staying with us, so I'm trying to push the idea of, wouldn't it be great to have a puppy for my 6-year-old granddaughter?
This is Lilly and Gracie.
And Lily was rescued last year, and Gracie's been with us since she was a puppy for about 6 years, 7 years?
Yep, she's almost 7.
Yeah. So Lily is named after Lilith, the goddess Lilith. Even though she's little, she's very feisty and fiery. And Gracie, we named her after we passed a church where I think we were on our way to pick her up and passed a church that had Grace in the name.
Well, we adopted her from the shelter where I volunteer, and she's a 9-year-old mix, and she is a therapy dog.
This is Albus and Minerva. They are bunny rabbits, and right now it is their bedtime. So it's a picture. They are both 2 years old.
Hi. This is, can you see her? This is Lola. And Lola is the love of our life. Well, whatever Lola wants, Lola gets, because she's very spoiled. And she's 4 years old, and we love her.
And this is our friend's cat, Nio. And Nio asked for extra blessings because she has been ill and very ill. And but she's a good kitty, and she's been our friend's pet for many, many years. So this is Nio.
This is Ivan. Ivan is one of the 2 cats that we inherited from the late Margaret Householder. And as you see, he is a large and very gray individual and pretty cool. His fellow householder adoptee, Isabella, is familiar to many people from various things because she likes to hog the screen, but she seems to be resting right now.
Hi, this is Zachary. Okay. And he really likes the Zoom meeting because when he came to church and the other dogs were there, he did not like that at all. So he's much happier with the Zoom meeting.
This is Diana. I want to tell you about my cat. About 9 years ago, my Pittsburgh sister called to say her feral cat had some kittens, and there was one left, the runt, of course. And she called, and my husband said, yeah, we want a kitten. So he drove to Chippewa to get this kitty, who fit in the palm of his hand. Well, he named him Fluffy, and Fluffy got along with our dog, and he was just a regular cat and just, fit in around the household so well. And then my husband died 8 years ago. And so Fluffy's been stuck with me. And Fluffy's my shadow. Everywhere I go, he goes. He talks to me and I talk to him. And when I go away, he waits for me. And he's just a really happy cat. I live in an apartment that has laundry in the basement. So whenever I say to Fluffy, Fluffy, do you want to do laundry? He runs to the back door. And I have a hard time carrying the clothes basket up. And my sister, who's at the nursing home right now, said, well, why don't you get a wagon for Fluffy so he can help you with the laundry? So Fluffy's my good buddy, and I really appreciate having another person with me.
Jeff, so Maggie, can anybody see Maggie? This is Mary June. Then Maggie's trying to get a cookie because she won't pose for us. He says, I'm not posing, not unless I get a cookie. You don't know where she goes. You want another cookie?
Anyone else want to hop on and share their animal friend? There's a little more time.
This is Daniel posing on the back of the couch. He's a rescue from West Side Cats, and we've had him for about 5 years.
Do they see us on the video?
Hey Beth, hey Evelyn.
Hi. This is Mishka. Oh. Evelyn, you want to talk about Mishka? Mishka is a Siberian Husky. She's very nice. She loves to be pet, and she loves to sunbathe outside on our patio. Patio. That's what Mishka.
And this is Arthas over here. I don't know how well you can see him. He's our other Siberian Husky, and he is a bundle of energy. He's not even full grown. He's about 8 months old now. He loves to chew up everything and wander around eating grass. So he's you know, your typical dog in some ways, but he's very lovable and very sweet, and just loves roaming around. And meanwhile, up here, we have Luna, who's our kitty. She's sitting here eating. She's our old cat. She's actually 16 years old. She's not too happy about the dogs, but she tolerates them.
A little trivia, Beth is my sister, everybody, and Evelyn is my niece, and they're joining us today from South Carolina. Nice to see you guys.
Hi. Good to see you.
Where's Irma?
Anyone else want to pop on and share their animal friend?
Hi, Will. This is Lisbeth. This is Cosmo. He's 13. I call him an Angora cat because he's got the softest fur I've ever come across. He's 13. And I'm kind of surprised he's not up here participating, because he's basically a de facto non-voting member of the UUIO board, because he's always up here when we have board meetings. And yeah, he's 13, and I just so enjoy living with this cat. He's just a great personality. He's a joy to live with.
Hi, everyone. This is Heather and Bodie, and here is our cat, Shanti. I don't know if you can see her. We tried to find her, but she's hiding under the couch right now. And she's our rescue. She's sleeping. She's our rescue kitty, and she's trying very hard to learn how to be with people. And it's a bit hard for her right now, but she's getting friendlier and friendlier every day, especially with kissing me. she gives kisses to Bodhi, yeah. And we love her very much, right, Bodhi? Yeah. Thank you.
So nice to see you. Heather and Bodhi have chimed in from Colorado and have been watching our service as well. And that was Anna and Tom from New York. So we've definitely got earlier, we've got a lot of people from different states and our extended UUIO family. So good to see you guys. All right, anyone else? This is your time.
This is Daniel. He's our rescue cat from West Side Cats, and we've had him for about 5 years.
Hi, this is Elizabeth. I recently lost a beautiful tortie cat named Wangari and recently rescued a very large cat, a beautiful black cat named Orion from Falcon Animal Shelter.
Has everyone had a chance to share their pet who would like to share? Okay.
You have to unmute.
Is someone needing to be unmuted?
It keeps muting.
This is Lucy. I don't know if you could see her. I don't know if you could see me or not.
Yes.
Do you see Lucy?
Yes, we do. Hi.
I love her so much. Some days, though, she gets kind of ornery, and some days she's actually Lucifer. So, but most days she's Lucy.
Wonderful. Anybody else? Last chance. Well, not last chance. Oh, Trudy, hi. Is that Smokey you said?
That's, can you see it okay?
A little bit. There you go. Yeah. Aw, nice to see him.
My best friend Judy Burton got him for me about, what, 6, 7 years ago?
Nice.
Thank you. He's spoiled.
All right.
Here's Poppy.
Oh.
Poppy's the big boy, and he's Lucy's brother, and he's definitely the one that takes orders from Lucy. And here's Daddy. He's the older of the two. That's it.
All right, everybody. Thank you all who shared wonderful photos and memories of your animal friends. Animal friends, great and small, I offer you this blessing. May your days be filled with joy, love, play, and togetherness. May you always have a sunny spot to rest, your favorite foods to eat, and quality time with your loved ones. If you have passed on from this world, we offer your spirit a blessing and wish you safe passage as we offer condolences and support to your family who miss you. Thank you for all that you teach us and all of the gifts you bestow upon us. As we honor our 7th principle, respect for the interdependent web of all existence, we honor your presence in our lives each and every day. All this we pray. Amen.
extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we keep in our hearts until we are together again.
My hope is that we can navigate through this world with the grace and integrity of those who most need our protection. May we have the sense of humor and liveliness of the goats. May we have the maternal instincts and protective nature of the hens and the sassiness of the roosters. May we have the gentleness and strength of the cattle and the wisdom, humility, and serenity of the donkeys. May we appreciate the need for community as do the sheep, and choose our companions as carefully as do the rabbits. May we have the faithfulness and commitment to family of the geese, the adaptability and affability of the ducks. May we have the intelligence, loyalty, and affection of the pigs, and the inquisitiveness, sensitivity, and playfulness of the turkeys. My hope is that we can learn from the animals what we need to become better people. May it be so.